This video is over Unit 3, Lesson 17, Mini Project Interactive Card. So from Canvas, you're going to click on the Overview page here. And on the Overview page, it goes over the learning goals and your task and the standards that are covered. So during this time, you're going to use conditionals to react to keyboard input or changes in variables and properties. You're going to sequence commands to draw in the proper order within GameLab, and also you're going to apply an iterator pattern to variables or properties in a loop. You need to make sure that you read and complete all the content, materials, and activities, and that you turn in the lesson assignment and discussion if applicable, if that applies. So you click Next, and then we just go over that you've been learning how to use keyboard and mouse input in GameLab, and now we're going to have you create an interactive card project. Now that you know how to animate, and now that you know how to do the keyboard and mouse input where there's user input with your program. So you click Next, and this will take you to the assignment. So for this project, you're going to be completing something like an interactive greeting card or just anything that's interactive using all the programming techniques that you've learned up to this point. So for this one, you're going to go through all 7 levels. There is no worksheet for this. You would just click Start Assignment, and then you would just submit the link to level 7 when you have completed your project. So there are 7 levels, and I will go through these in code.org, and then again you after completing your card, your interactive card on level 7, then you need to click the share button, copy the link, and paste it into this assignment here. So we will come back to this at a later time when we are done. We are now in code.org, Lesson 17, Project Interactive Card. On level 1, this is just an example project. So you're going to run the program a few times and think about the following 5 questions. Answer those as you look at this program and how it works. So when we click Run, we can see which elements appear to use drawing commands. So when you look at this, you would say there's some ellipses and there's some lines. And then which elements appear to be sprites. For each sprite, which property is being updated, or what property do you see? What's happening with that sprite? Where do you see conditionals being used, like an if statement? Are there elements that you don't understand? So it says move the mouse. So this is the background of the card. This is interactive card. It says move the mouse to shake your present. Keep shaking till you see a surprise. So just keep shaking the mouse, shake the mouse, and at some point it'll show 2 different things there. So think about that example project. After you've kind of thought about it for a while and answer those 5 questions, then click Finish to go to level 2, or you can just click level 2 at the top here. So you're going to be creating something similar to that. So here are some other examples, all right, but you need to create your own. But these are just, we already looked at the happy birthday one. Here's one that is another one that kind of shows you how that code works. So now you can actually see how some of this code works. And this is pick the flowers by clicking them. So I'm just clicking on them. Oh, then I got something that showed. So when you look at this example, then you need to read through the code to see if this is some code that you might want to use in the interactive card that you're going to create. Then I can go back, click my back button, and there we go. And here's another example. So on this one, again, they show you the code on this one, and you click Run, and hey, welcome to my awesome life. Press the space bar to play my guitar, plus the arrows to ride my bike. So if I press the space bar, it's playing my guitar, so there's some sound there. And then when I push the left or right arrow, the bicycle moves. Okay, so you can look at this code and you can see where the sound is played right here. So you can study this code and maybe use some of it when you create your own interactive card. They also show you the code of the birthday present here. So you'd have to click here, and now you're going to see that code that made this one work. All right, so you can see here where it has shake. If shake count is greater than 100, then all these things happen. So there's code that you could use. If you look at the code from those 3 examples, you might be able to use some of that code when you make your own interactive card. So let's go back and click continue and go to level 3. On level 3, again, just like you've done in other projects, they have you creating the background first. So on this level 3, you need to start creating your background. Okay, so you should already know how to do that. And you would drag over those blocks to create your background. And then when you're done with that, just keep going forward. You're not going to click the share button until you get to level 7 at the end. Okay, so this right now is just to create your get your background created. At level 4, this is where you would add your sprites. All right, so you created the background for your card. Now you want to create some sprites. I highly recommend that you draw out what you want to do with your interactive card. You could even take your project that you did previously that didn't have any animation or interactions, and you could maybe reuse that code and then add in the animation and the interactions with it, and the mouse input and the keyboard input to it if you want. Or you can start from scratch. So right now you're just creating static elements. That means they don't move. Okay, so you got your background. Now it says, okay, let's add some sprites. So you have the animation tab over here, and you can add sprites and place those sprites. When you have that done, then you go to level 5. Level 5 is just asking you to put in some user input. So you would either put an input block, such as mouse down, key down, key 1 up, whatever one of these that you want to choose. And then it gives you some directions here about what you need to do. Okay, so and if anything, if you're not sure and can't remember how to do mouse input or keyboard input for this user input page here, then go back and look at those previous lessons and review those. When you're done with level 5 and you have some user input in there, then you'd go to level 6. And so this is just adding in other conditionals. So just like when we were shaking the present, has that present shook after so many shakes? It was like if it's over 100 shakes, then the present disappeared and 2 other sprites showed up. So that's another element, okay, something that's triggered. Okay, so you would add an if or an if-else block for that action. So I'm not going to show you how to do this because this is you building your interactive card from scratch. So when you're done with that and you've added in another element, think about those 3 examples back on level 2, and I'll go back over those in a little bit here. And then when you go to level 7, it's just, hey, anything else you want to add to your project. You know, like you should be adding maybe some text, right? And then because sometimes that text is good, since it's an interactive card, you might want to put the text on there that tells the user what they're doing or what they need to do to make that interaction happen. And then when you're done with that, you will, at this point, you're at level 7, and you're going to click the share button, and you're going to copy that. Then you're going to go back to Canvas and click Start Assignment, because this one's a little bit different than what we've been doing. And you can either choose text entry and paste it in there and then hit enter so it turns blue, or you can choose website URL and input it there and then click Submit Assignment. Either way works with text entry or with the website URL, and then just click Submit Assignment, and that assignment is submitted. So let's go back to lesson 17, that interactive card, and look at a couple other things to help you. Just looking at a few things that might help you here back in code.org. Remember, you can go back to here to level 2, and you can look at these examples, and you could actually use some of that code that you might find and go like, I want to use that code because that was kind of cool when the present shook. Or I might use some of the code that when I clicked, and if I clicked and got, with those flowers disappeared, and then when I clicked the third one, then all the flowers were together. Or you can, there's music that they showed how to do with the alien playing the guitar and the bicycle. So you can always go back and look at how that code is written to give yourself some ideas on how you want your interactive card to be. And that is it for lesson 17, your interactive card project.